Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here on YouTube, folks. Today we are going to be talking Nervous Networks, CKB. Before we do, check me out on Twitter at Real6Fig. Help me get to 1,500 followers. That would be awesome. This is where I drop news, videos, upcoming live streams, time-sensitive info, and charts. So if you are on Twitter, go ahead and hit me up. Back to CKB. I took yesterday off just because there wasn't a whole lot going on. So let's really look at this thing on a grand scale. And bear with me one second while I battle TradingView here. So one thing that's great about TradingView is that we can see the 200 moving average starting to show up, and it is in usable form. So we can see which way this thing is actually headed, and it's not just some blip on the radar. So let's get into this a little bit higher detail. We can see the inverse head and shoulders that is formed. Pretty much a perfect Wyckoff pattern to boot, for that matter. But we can see that we might possibly be dealing with some Elliott wave theory to the upside. And this might be setting up for a retest of this 4.5 cent level over the next couple of weeks. And we can see that price action closed this candle above the Ichimoku cloud. We can see that the next candle has not really even made an attempt to move back down towards the cloud, which is a very good thing. And we have a bull pennant that has formed on a weekly chart. So that's very bullish. Came down, bounced off this 50 moving average quite nicely. So I do think that there definitely is some nice bullish momentum here, pending that Bitcoin doesn't wreck us all. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But if we go ahead and look at CKB on a daily chart, and I just want to go ahead and and I've pointed this out several times here, and I've been saying this probably for the last month about how similar this price structure is to this price structure right here. Meaning we can see that there was a corrective wave that hit here. We can definitely see that was the case here. We got kind of an inverse head and shoulders out of this, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And then it was off to the races. And here we go again. Off to the races. One thing that I want to note, or I've noted, is that, we kind of saw some nasty dips here the last few days after this run up. But it is important to note that we didn't go any lower than this little low here on this first leg up. So that was great to see. I do think CKB is setting up to start moving to the upside again. And we can kind of see that there might be some sort of bull flag here off this flagpole. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some sort of symmetrical triangle squeeze or something like that happen, and then we move for the next leg up. The closer in we can travel to this Ichimoku cloud, in my opinion, the better. Now, one thing that we do have going for us is that the conversion line and the baseline are squeezing. And when we see this red conversion line arc upwards, price volatility goes through the roof, and we will see some very bullish momentum, kind of like what happened right in here. With that said, I just kind of noticed some other similarities as well. We can see that this thing kind of made this staircase pattern to the upside. And this little spike here is kind of an anomaly. This is when Voyager Exchange listed CKB back in February of 21. And that's when I first caught on to CKB, to be honest with you. But we can see that this thing went through a series of nasty dips in these staircases to the upside. And the fact that we were trading way too far away from the cloud, and this thing really had to consolidate over almost right above it or around the corner of the cloud before it moved up. And you can see that when that happens, it allows us to move higher a lot faster the closer we are to this cloud. So, it's just one of those things. I think that if by December 1st, this thing starts ripping to the upside, it may be a great opportunity to possibly retest this 0.044-ish level. And if support's there, it would not surprise me to see some sort of ascending triangle form or something of that nature and just really rip to the upside. Obviously, I want this thing to keep staircasing as high as it can go for the time being, because we've been suffering since April. It's been way too long for all of us hodlers, and I'm going to be hodling for the long term with CKB, so I guess I don't really care too much. But if this thing runs up, I might sell a little bit just to buy some more miners or something like that. Not saying you should. It's not financial or trading advice, but I do think for the time being, CKB is setting up nicely for a retest of this 0.044-ish level or higher. With that said, folks, there's really not much to talk about other than Bitcoin. And we need to really look at Bitcoin because this is going to really sway the way of CKB. And if I could ask you guys for anything, it would be to just smash the like button. You guys killed it. I think I was asking people if we could get 100 likes on that last video, and you guys killed it all the way to like 360 or something like that. It was unreal. So thank you guys for all the support in that way. And let's just try to get 400. That would be sweet. So what do we have Bitcoin here doing? Well, Bitcoin has been being Bitcoin for quite a while now. And you can see that we do have some sort of rising wedge pattern that is forming with Bitcoin, on a crazy multi-year level. So with that said, it wouldn't surprise me that when this house of cards comes tumbling down, if it comes tumbling down, we may see, some price tags right around the $25,000, $30,000 level. But if we go ahead and look at Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart, it is a very different situation. Actually, we're going to go over to a 12-hour chart. So we can see that there was a rising wedge that formed here, but Bitcoin really did straighten it out. And this is one of those anomalies that you just don't see too often, especially on these multi-month patterns. Now, Bitcoin is only $1 trillion plus asset, so it is somewhat easy to manipulate Bitcoin if you are a whale or if you are, rich or a hedge fund or what have you. But what you can see is that Bitcoin is now trading within this channel to the upside. And it's going to be very interesting to see that if Bitcoin over the next few days or weeks decides to continue its little ripping to the upside, we might be in for some treats. And this is possibly Elliott wave theory to the upside. And we will know this if we cannot clear $69,000. We might be in for some trouble here, because at that time, we might be up somewhere in here and we will be really close to this channel line just like we are now. So what we need to do on the daily chart is for Bitcoin to really bounce off this cloud and continue heading upward higher. And we are in a very good position to do that, quite frankly, as long as we do not violate somewhere around $57,000 or lower at this point in this video. So I do think that there might be a chance for something like this to occur. And we may be getting ready to see this $80,000 Bitcoin somewhere in there. Let's just look at this. So I wouldn't be surprised to actually see somewhere around $77,000 to $82,000 Bitcoin just based off this trend line and the potential velocity that Bitcoin could rise. So if we get some excitement, we may see Bitcoin really come through the top of this channel as well. But hey, folks, I'm kind of liking the way this is setting up, as long as we do not violate this trend line here. So with that said, Bitcoin is at a tipping point right now. We need to make sure that this thing heads up. We need to see some new all-time highs broken. We will experience some resistance at or around the $72,000, $77,000 level. Long range, but short range, we're looking at about 63,000, 62,000, 66,000 will be major points to break through. So I think things are looking halfway decent, or a lot better than everybody kind of expected at this point, after these all-time highs crushed us down here. So with that said, big shout out to all the Patreons. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I love you all. It's $3 a month. Get your name, YouTube channel name, or business name up on this banner. We'll see you guys all on the next video.